Hey you, and welcome. In this video, we will learn how to use JavaScript with HTML or on the web. So let's dive right into it. I have my HTML file open called the index.html, and I have it open on the browser on the right hand side that has the content that I'm showing. So I'm ready to go. What I'm going to do first is scroll all the way down to where the body tag closes and start a new tag called script tag. And that's how you introduce JavaScript into your HTML, by putting the script tag and surrounding the script tag with your JavaScript code. That means it's not a self-closing tag. It is a tag that closes with a closing tag. So we have a open tag and a close tag, and in between that, I can start writing some code. And I will just start write some code that we are not familiar with yet. Don't worry about how we get to that. We will talk about DOM in the later videos, but just know that this is how JavaScript will be executed. So I'll say get element by ID, in this case h1, which if I scroll down, h1 ID is right there on line number 9, which is the first hello world, the bigger hello world on our page. All right, with that, I will say change the inner HTML to something. Perfect. There we go. JavaScript is executing and we have JavaScript running in our HTML. So that's one way to do it. Another way would be to abstract that out and put it in its own file, because of course HTML file can only give you so much IntelliSense. For JavaScript, maybe you want a little bit more style guide support and IntelliSense support in IDE, and then you want to put it in its own file, and also it makes the code look a little bit nicer. So how do we do that? If I open my file explorer and create a new file, call it index.js. The name doesn't have to be index, I just call it index for now. Index.js, and let's copy over the code that I wrote in index.html on line number 44. Take that line, copy that over, or actually let's cut that, save. So something to change back to hello world, and go back to index.html and paste it. Save, and nothing should change because we haven't linked the two files. The HTML file doesn't know anything about the index.js file. So I'll hide my file explorer. Let's go back to our index.html, and instead of script tag having no content, let's put it on the same line and provide an attribute called src, which is the source of where the file would be, and in this case it's index.js. Since they're on the same level, index.js should work. So I'll go ahead and save, and there we go, something is showing again. So we have successfully linked our index.js file with our HTML. So that's another way to do it. And then one more way I will show you, if I go to index.js, you can see the code here. If I was to write more code, eventually it will get too large for the file, and JavaScript code can get pretty messy. And that's where the modules would come in handy. And we'll be using modules in frameworks. Any framework that you work with in JavaScript, modules are key. That's how you make a big amount of code appear in a small amount of files. So that way you're able to detect which file is causing the problem, or every file would have its own purpose to serve. All right, so how does module work? Well, there's a few steps involved in it. First thing would be, let's have another another JavaScript file that we can work with. In this case, the sample.js file from the previous video. I will just use that. I have to make a small modification though, because right now the sample.js is not a module. And what makes it a module? Well, if we go all the way to the bottom, we can just do export. Use the export keyword with default keyword, and then the constant that you want to return, in this case bottle. That would make it a module. And remember, bottle is our constant on line number 14 that we are exporting. That means if anybody imports this as a module, bottle will be provided to that importer. Perfect. Next part of it would be, I will import that up here on index.js. I'll use import keyword and provide the name for the variable. It could be any name. I'm just using the bottle name here, and from keyword, and then in the string value, single quotes, double quotes, doesn't matter. And I'll just say sample.js is the file I want to import from. I'll go ahead and save. Our code is not working anymore. As you can see on the right hand side, hello world has returned. That means at some point our code is failing, and the reason for failure is because in index.html we have to specify this script tag is going to be a type of module. That way we can use modules API that is available to us. However, it's still not working. And the reason for that is because in index.html, we have to use a relative path in JavaScript. So we have to do / to tell it in the same directory there's a sample.js file. So I'll go ahead and save that. And there we go. It's working just fine. I can use bottle now. So there is a bottle.name key I'll go ahead and save, and now it's using the bottle.name key from our sample.js. As I can go to sample.js, we can see bottle name is nice bottle. So that's how we use modules in JavaScript. All right, I'll see you all in the next video.